Bam, we're live. Good morning. Good to see everyone. Sorry about all the audio issues this weekend. Every time we would unplug and move the Roadcaster, which was like 3 times a day, we would have to reset the settings, and that was always weird. And there's some things you have to adjust every time, and I would neglect to adjust them, choosing the right camera, choosing the right audio. So I apologize that. I know the first minute of several shows, the audio is jacked. Let me see if I can get sorted here. I did not prepare a show for you guys today. I tried to, and then I ended up watching the so much of the Charlie Kirk memorial that you guys got neglected. So that's my excuse for that. I'm trying to find the home screen. Oh, there it is. Okay, back to regular shows. What a whirlwind! I had a great time. I had a great time this weekend. I'm gonna have a great time today. I'm really excited for the RFK Trump press conference today. It is going to be something wild. It's going to be something most of us already knew or know. Uh, we'll get to that in a second. Uh, Recap of the event. Great event. Tons of people. Huge footprint. Huntington Beach, California is a great place to have events. Perfect weather. Really sunny in the early part of the week, and then temperatures dropped to like 75, I'd say, with cloud cover. And even when it rained there, it wasn't cold, which is not normal for California. It was just beautiful. It was just a great event. It's a great place to go with friends. Hats off to Dylan Malinsky for pulling that off. They really do they do an amazing job. But if you knew how limited the resources are, also that Dylan works with, you'd be even more blown away. It's great. He pulls together, just to name a couple people. Wilson Pack was there, and Tim Chan was there, and I know both of them are like world class at what they do. And when you see that Dylan has harvested people from around kind of like the CrossFit event world, and it's people like that, you're like, wow. So absolutely amazing event. And by the way, I'm not saying I could name 20 people if I knew all their names, but it's the people that you see at these big events who would be like in charge of athletes or in charge of setting up the floor or in charge of equipment. Like Dylan has curated the best of those, and it was really a great event. Um, I don't know how many thousands of people were there. Some people were saying, "Oh, the bleachers didn't look full." Uh, I don't remember if they did or didn't look full, but I will tell you this, like, when you stepped basically, there's this main thoroughfare. There's a highway that runs along, the ocean front there. Maybe it's, like, 6 lanes or 8 lanes, 4 lanes in each direction, and there's just shops everywhere on one side, on the mountainside, and then on the ocean side is this massive beach. And the footprint was massive. It looked like it was, like, as big as Madison. They'd set up so many stages, and the vendor village was huge. So when you stood on the highway and looked down into the venue just looked like ants everywhere. So even if the bleachers weren't full, all the entire vendor village was chaos. I mean, there had to have been thousands of people there. So, it was cool. Um, I saw a lot of people. Even though I tried to stay to myself the whole time. Basically, we would show up about an hour before setup, then we'd set up for an hour, we'd do our podcast, and then we would leave. I got all my family here. The highlight for me was just being with friends. I had so much fun with Maris and Lizzie and Bryson and Taylor and Souza and Jenny. It was awesome. We hung out basically the whole time for 5 days, and then anytime they came home, we came back to the apartment. We would hang out with my kids and my mom and my wife, and we had a great time. And one day I got to hang out with Sarah Cox there. Our seats were fantastic. There's really no, I can't think of one. Kill Taylor show went off without a hiccup. Uh, I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything. I got nothing negative to say about it. Great event. If you get a chance to come, come. If I was 23 years old and I was a CrossFitter, this is definitely, like, me and the homies would come here and sleep in the back of our trucks, and we would do this thing. This thing is something special. Yeah. The only thing missing, was my, it'd been great if my sister was here and my nephews were here, but shit, that's not Dylan's fault. That's my fault. Did you meet the guy competing who lost his wife less than a month ago? No, I'm telling you, like, I hide. I basically hid. I stayed just right by our podcast studio, and I only came out once to do Kill Taylor, and that's it. And then other than that, I hid. But our podcast studio was just in the center of the VIP area, so anyone who was back there, who was walking back and forth, you know who I had a nice conversation with, who was very sweet and cool, and real, not zero awkwardness. Zero was, the Caitlyn girl from the In the Box show, and you could tell she's cool as shit from that show. But when I went over to the bathroom, she was sitting down, so I stopped and said hi to her, and she was so fucking cool. Like, total great eye contact, sweet, engaging, nothing weird. She was cool as shit. And then that's maybe that's the highlight of my, maybe that's the highlight of the weekend for me, was meeting her. It's cool just to put faces to people that you're, jousting with and sparring with on the internet and having fun with and hazing, and that was really cool. Oh, there was and then I met this other dude who came to visit Kill Taylor who was cool. I met this Asian dude, him and his wife and his beautiful little daughter was there. He was cool as shit. I met Mark. I got to hang with Marco again. Marco hung out with us, hung out on stage kinda while Kill Taylor was going. That was cool. I guess there were a lot of I guess I just like the people. The people were great. It was cool. I enjoyed it. I like people also, like, Justin was great. Justin Medeiros is great. It's been and his parents were great. It's been a weird couple years with him. I said something to piss his mom off, um, a couple years ago, and she was there, and she was really sweet. Um, at one point, I guess they were sitting in the bleachers, and we were standing up along the fence watching the event. And I guess we were blocking her view, and she's like, "Hey, can you guys duck down or move?" And I think she felt bad for saying it, but she shouldn't have felt bad at all. We couldn't see either, so we moved. But then I don't think she could see even after we moved. But she was cool. I got to introduce my one of my sons got to meet Justin's dad. It was cool. I enjoyed the Boys Interrupted podcast. I thought Justin did an amazing job. Jason did an amazing job. There's only one douchebag in the whole place. Only one. It was crazy. So, Irene, I was at the Charlie Kirk Memorial. No words to describe it. He was the definition of a good dude and so much more. Oh, you got to go to that? How many people were there? It looked like there were 70,000 people there. And then I heard Trump say that there was an arena next door that also had like 20,000 people. Some of the estimates I'm hearing are 200,000 people. No, Sean Taylor wasn't the douchebag. Those events aren't a place you like. I I clearly know I'm projecting, and it's just my modus operandus. Is that what Wile E. Coyote did? He had a modus operandus. I don't go to those events to bash people. Like, no matter how fucked up our shit is, like, online or when I go to those events, I'm there to I guess it's to do healing. I want I am excited to get FaceTime with people who maybe I didn't. I appreciate the excitement of getting FaceTime with people who maybe on the internet I don't get along with, and seeing them in person and squashing those beefs, or at least like being like, hey, we're both human beings. And I had a long conversation with Patrick Clark, a good one. I mean, I have a good relationship with him, even though Taylor's always ripping him. I have a good relationship. I text with Patrick about UFC fighting and shit like that. Outside of like the things that outside of like CrossFit talk. I don't really talk CrossFit talk with him, but I had a great talk with him. We talked politics. Um, and, and him and I don't see eye to eye, and it was still a great conversation. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, the memorial was something else. The memorial was something else. I listened to Mrs. Kirk do her thing, and then I listened to Trump's. Those are the two I listened to. That took about, I don't know, an hour and a half of my time. Um, it was wild. It was wild. It was wild. I guess the highlights would be that she said she's now going to be the CEO of Turning Point USA. Um, she also said that Charlie was ready to die. I think she said something like that. And then she also said, and I don't know if she meant it, but I know she gave it a try. I'm not saying she didn't want to mean it, but she also said she forgives the killer um, of her husband. Irene, I got to the memorial at 3 a.m. and there were over 100,000 people there waiting. Holy shit! Oh yeah, and I saw Elon and Trump and Dana White sitting together. That was cool. I think this rocked Elon. I saw him in an interview. He looked like he got rocked. I mean, shit, it could have been him. It could have been him. There's probably a ton of assassination attempts or clues or thoughts around all these guys that get thwarted regularly, I'm guessing. I'm guessing if we know about 2 or 3 attempts on Trump's life, I'm guessing there's gotta be a handful that they thwarted that they probably don't, advertise or talk about. Yeah. I was talking to someone and they're like, "Man, we live in some really dark times." And I was like, "God, I don't see it as dark times. I see it as exciting and energized." And I was listening to someone said, "Hey, man, it was way crazier in 1968." The only place that I think might be remotely dark is on Twitter. When I go on Twitter, the conspiracy theories are fucking nuts. The shit people will say on there is nuts. The one refreshing thing is then usually when I go in the comments, everyone's like, "Hey, are you retarded?" Yeah, I guess maybe it's dark times if you hang out on Reddit. I don't go to Reddit either. Um, so oh, Tim Pool did not go to the Charlie Kirk Memorial because of death threats. Wow. Janelle Winston, I agree. I hate Twitter. It sucks on there. It's really I'm thinking maybe I need to like unfollow everyone I follow and then like reset my algorithm or something. Uh what's wrong with Candace? Is it just me? I go back and forth, uh, Mitch. I go back and forth. I was she was talking about in the beginning, she was talking about how she was friends with Charlie and this is what she thinks happened and she was insinuating that somehow there was some sort of Israel connection to his death because he was finally pushing back against Israel. And then PBD had a guy on saying, "Hey, I said that it's complete bullshit," and Candace and Charlie weren't friends. And then he gave all these reasons why. And then Candace came back and is like, "Okay, here's the receipts. Here's where I spoke with him last year," and basically proved the guy wrong on everything he said on PBD. So I don't know. I don't know. She got a little bit of the boy who cries wolf thing going, so it's hard to. And, like, I don't know if Macron's wife is a man or a woman or any of that, but when you do that for a year and then you wanna pivot to Israel killed Charlie Kirk, it's a tough, it it's tough. But I think in the public debate, she's winning, and I don't want her to be right. That's for sure. I sincerely wanna believe it was just some wackadoodle, and boy, do we have a ton of wackadoodles out there. If you're not following what's going on in the state of Minnesota, you gotta follow that. You gotta follow that. If you think California is bad, man, Minnesota isn't. I mean, we knew it after the, Rodney King riots. I think it's pretty clear also that all the riots are being funded now. It's so amazing that there hasn't been any violence around the Charlie Kirk thing. Not that I expected it in the slightest, but it's I think it's a pretty solid confirmation. Also, obviously, we know from the Kamala rallies with the cell phone tracking, um, what was it, like 59% of the people at her rallies go to all the rallies and they show up on buses. And so it was pretty clear that she had a shit ton of paid supporters. And then you can go online. If you go, online, you can find hundreds of interviews with people who say, "Yeah, I get paid $50 a day to be here. I don't even know why I'm here." Same with the Elon protests. I was told just to go there and be a troublemaker. Yeah, rioting is a business. I mean, just do the numbers on it. Do the numbers on it. If you pay $50 for people to go to a protest and give them a bus ride there, and you have a $10,000 budget for it, which is nothing for Soros. What is that? Someone do that quick math for me. How many times does $50 go into into 10,000? Let's see. 10,000 divided by 50. Yeah, you get 200 people there for $10,000 to do a protest, and you do 10 of those on the same day in 10 of the biggest cities in the United States. So now you get 200 people in each of those cities being agitators. It's pretty crazy. I think that's pretty I think that's pretty clear now what's happening. Josh, Candace has been consistently been proven wrong, but historically people love a good Jew conspiracy. I'm not surprised she's more popular. Yeah, the Jew thing's crazy too. That's another problem. If every time something happens, you're like Israel, Israel, Israel. There become a point. What do they call it? Black fatigue. I'm starting to get Israel fatigue. It's just nonstop. Every issue the planet's having, they're blaming on Netanyahu. I mean, that's basically what Twitter is. At least the algorithm I'm in. If the algorithm I'm in it's yeah, it's just nonstop Jew hate. I don't know how I got caught in that algorithm because I don't hate Jews even a little bit. I love Jews. So, um, yeah, that's also a problem too. Coaching CrossFit, not to mention the mass pardoning for the people who got arrested during the riots. The pardons are a wild one. All that stuff. Hopefully, all that stuff. Hopefully, it's not just lip service. Trump is giving us, and hopefully, Pam Bondi has a good team, and they're digging into all that stuff. It would be great to see all the auto pen shit reversed. That shit is wild. I mean, clearly Biden had no idea what was going on. What was it? I saw something like his chief of staff spoke to him less than twice a month and saw him like once every 6 months. That's the crazy part. That's the crazy part about the time we're living in with Trump. And it's a complete 180 than Biden's team's approach to the public. Trump is always available, always there, always talking. There's always opportunity to catch him, saying something ridiculous or positive or negative or upsetting or funny or make a like he's just in any. I don't think this is hyperbole. I think you can pick any one day of his time in office, and he's given the public more time in any single day than Biden gave the public in his entire 4 years in terms of interaction with the people. Um, Victoria, there weren't any riots after they killed Charlie. No cities burned down. I know. Well, but and to tell you the truth, it's because there were no paid agitators. It's because there were no paid agitators. That's the reason why. I don't think any, I don't think those things would happen if there weren't paid agitators. None of that stuff would happen. I don't believe any of that shit is, what's the word, organic. I'm pretty convinced that I'm pretty convinced it's all organized. From just the cell phone tracking, all the buses you see coming in, the fact that it's always violence. In my town of Santa Cruz, the day after he got killed, there was this guy. I don't know what he was. I couldn't. He was dark skinned guy. I don't know if maybe he was an Arab. He had long hair, like an Arab. Just imagine like an Arab hippie, and he was standing on the corner down from my house, like 2 miles at the bottom of this. I live on this old highway, and he was down at the bottom where the old highway enters this small town, and he was standing. There's a four-way stop there, and he was standing on the corner holding a sign that said, "I am Charlie Kirk," and that's it. That's the only thing. I rolled down the window and yelled, "I love Charlie Kirk." No, I said, "I love you, Charlie Kirk." Like I acknowledged him like he was Charlie Kirk. The most violence there's been is from haters stomping on Charlie Kirk's memorial, good people defending the memorial. Yeah, I saw that one kid stomp the memorial and then some big dude threw him on the ground. None of them really cared about George Floyd. Yeah, of course. The only part, the part about the George Floyd thing is I absolutely do recognize the fact that if you're a black dude and you see a black dude on the ground with a cop with his knee on his back, like you don't like that, right? Like everything I see, there is a unconscious part, like whether like everything I see, there's an unconscious part of it, me seeing myself in it, right? So like the other day there was a dead deer on the side of the road and my kid saw it and he started crying. And like I get that phenomenon. He's witnessing just he's having the harsh reality of uh or at least this is my take on it. He's seen that the harsh reality that life eventually all creatures die and that he's coming face to face with his own death in that moment. And so when you see things, that's why I don't think it's ever good to celebrate anyone's death. You shouldn't be celebrating Osama bin Laden's death. You shouldn't. I mean, it is what it is, and it happened. You don't have to go to the place where if you're not celebrating it, you're against it. It's not like that. It's just that you shouldn't be celebrating the extinguishing of life because some part of you is some part of that is you. And so you don't want to I think it's a horrible if that's who you are. I think that there's room to work on that for a happier life, for a better life. Jake Azan, I went to Charlie's memorial yesterday. It was beautiful. Oh, in the stadium? What stadium was it at? How did you go to it? Don't you live in California? And it made me so proud to be a Christian and an American. Also, Erica's speech was so emotional. No hate or protest anywhere. Yeah, she was extremely positive. I will say this. In the first 2 minutes of her speech, she referred to him. Um, she referred to him. How did she do it? She referred to him in two different ways that didn't comport. What were the two ways she referred to Tyler Robinson? She referred to him as an assassin, but prior to that, she tried to make a strong case that he was something else, like something more benign. And then she pivoted to he was an assassin, and you could see I can't remember what it was, but you couldn't be both of those things. It wasn't like it was a young man, and I mean, she kept saying young man, young man, young man. And definitely definitely a lot of that talk was for herself to try to bring her to the space where she wants to do what the Bible she follows tells her to do. She wants to serve God, but there was some um you could tell there was some tension there. There was some conflict. And rightfully so. I mean, can you imagine the whole time I'm watching, I'm just thinking, wow, what an incredible opportunity It's not every day. There's things in life you're not gonna see every day, and one of them is, a woman whose husband died, uh, address the country and share her feelings. And I just thought it's like, superficially, it's like seeing, some guy going somewhere and seeing some guy on a motorcycle do 2 backflips. You know what I mean? It's not something you're gonna get to see every day. So just from the human experience, I really enjoyed, uh, watching that. There were some, the venue was crazy. Oh, here, I'll tell you some of the crazy shit people say on Twitter. I just thought of an example. So when she came out, they had sparks coming out, like, as part of, like, celebration, because I think it's supposed to be like a celebration of life, right? So they have these sparklers coming out, and someone on Twitter says, "Man, this is so obviously all stage. This is just WWE shit." And I'm like, "Wow, like, I don't see that. I didn't see that at all." I think that's just like, "Wow, you're batshit crazy." I don't see it as the sparklers or WWE. That person watches too much WWE. Anyone else open their aperture and realize Kirk was hit behind the ear, not the neck? The neck was actually an exit wound, and there's not a chance in hell a 30-06 was the weapon. There were, I don't know what they were, but I saw a clip at the moment. You know how, like, at the Democratic National Convention, the news outlets will have their studios set up around the top, and, like, you can turn to Fox and hear the 4 Fox guys talk, and then you could turn to MSNBC and hear them talk, and they kinda have, like, their makeshift studios there around the event that they report from. Well, at the memorial, they had something like that. They had 4 people who were, like, the host, I guess. I didn't watch the whole memorial, I just saw clips on YouTube, and there were 4 people who were, like, like the news anchors, for the audience at home to kind of tell you what's going on, or in between speakers or during breaks, I guess they would cut to these 4 people. And one of the guys said, uh, "The the scope of the investigation is not narrowing, it's expanding." And he alluded to the fact that, uh, the FBI is acutely aware that Tyler Robinson did not work by himself. He alluded to it. So, um, I don't know. I mean, I've seen that on Twitter, Dylan, and unfortunately, I've seen like 100 other things that are just absolutely absurd. What I did hear yesterday, which I had never heard before, is that there was a guy on the roof of another building at 12:06, and that they have footage of that too, separate from Tyler Robinson. Another building that had a direct line of sight. I did not see video of it. It was just a YouTuber who went to the event, who went to the college and was kind of recreating. There's all these YouTubers who are now going to where Charlie was murdered and walking the path of the killer to the point of execution and then escape. And he's pointing to the hallways and pointing to the cameras and all that stuff. But I hadn't heard that. But all of the other stuff, boy, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I'd be curious how you came up with that, Dylan. Like what you saw, um, that makes you think that. Sevan, have you looked into Saul Alinsky and Rules of Radicals? It's the playbook for the left. I haven't. Is that was that the Russian KGB agent that defected? I've listened to him talk from like 30 years ago. It's pretty wild. What he predicted 30 years ago is exactly what's happening. No matter what you believe, it's hard to deny the spiritual warfare that's happening. I don't see it as spiritual warfare. I see it as ideological uh ideological differences, and just is going to what Greg would say. It's just that some human beings are working on flawed logic. I listened to a talk yesterday Charlie Kirk gave, that the difference between liberals and leftists, and Liberals are people you can talk to, and leftists are people that you can't talk to. And he had this whole talk on it, which was it was I mean, at the end I thought it was a little absurd, because I just basically then that means that liberals are just pollywogs and leftists are frogs, like when they fully converted and they just like there's just no talking to them anymore. But it's definitely liberals are definitely the seedling of leftists. It is a wild, they say some really wild things when they explain that they just use those lines like he was against the civil rights movement, and they take that shit out of context. And Charlie was really good, if you listen to his talk, separating logic and the Constitution from also his biblical beliefs, how he runs his life. He was using the Bible to run his life, and he was using the Constitution as the foundation of how the country should be run. And when people listen to him, and I get it, we live with a lot of stupid people. They weren't able to distinguish between the two, no matter how much he spoke about it. So, um, and when he would speak about, one of the talks I heard was in regards to gay marriage, and clearly he had tons of gay friends. He was great friends with Reuben, great friends. They had dinner all the time, and Reuben's married to a man. Uh, One video showing a libertarian shouting hatred at Turning Point USA headquarters during a vigil. Eventually, the people hugged him and got him to calm down and loved on him. A libertarian or a liberal? You don't want. Why wouldn't you celebrate Osama bin Laden's death? There's nothing to celebrate. It's the death of a human being. It's a time to mourn. You can be glad. You can be glad. For me, you can be glad that he's gone. You can see him, like, if you believe that he was, if you believe he was the mastermind of 9/11. I see how intellectually you could be like, hey, um, we don't need people like that on the planet who are organizing planes crashing into buildings and killing thousands of innocent people. However, you want to use the word innocent. But to celebrate his death, the death of another human being, I think what you're doing is you're missing the fact that somewhere, somehow, we're all interconnected. And when you're celebrating his death, it's something. It's not. I hate to use this word, because it does. I don't think it carries a lot of weight. But somehow, it's bad for your soul. It's bad for your humanity. It's never positive when someone dies. It's never good. It's never. I'm not suggesting it's bad. You don't have to see it in the sense of duality. Oh, this was. I just remembered. This was the part. Yeah, there's a lot of inconsistencies in Kirk's wife's message. That basically, she calls him an assassin, and then at the same time, it was God calling her husband home. And so if the premise is that he was always asking God, please do your will with me, which I think is a beautiful thing, and everyone should always say that, whether you believe in God or not. You should always that's a great place. You should say that at least once a day. God, please you do your will with me. Um, but then uh to what's the word? It to be upset with the man who that she calls the assassin, which he is an assassin, to hate him for facilitating bringing Charlie home to his father, which the wife believes. I don't know. If my mom was stuck at the grocery store, her car broke down, and some guy brought her home, or brought my wife home, like, I wouldn't hate him. And maybe there's a conflating of logic with, something higher that you guys understand that I don't understand. I'm open to that. You're comparing Osama bin Laden to Charlie only in the sense that they're both human beings. only in the sense that if Osama bin Laden had been raised like Charlie Kirk, he would be Charlie Kirk, and if Charlie Kirk was raised by Osama bin Laden, he'd be bin Laden. It's a pretty easy comparison. You shouldn't do the LOL. You should I'm not telling you anything that's not true. Matt Burns, you hate the action but forgive the man. Fair enough. No, Joseph Ramirez, no, I'm comparing a life to a life. Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Yeah, you're comparing a life to a life. I'm not saying by any means you can't, you don't, absence of celebration, you're not condoning Osama bin Laden's actions. I'm just saying what's best for you as a human being, the thoughts you should have, um, as a man. I knew this hunter. I've told this story before. His name was Kevin Bongard, and he's one of the best, animal trackers in the world, and just a fucking amazing man. And, he took people on all sorts of hunts, on the biggest private ranches, in the United States. And one of the things he, would do with his dogs is I think they would catch raccoons or something. They would catch animals and then they would train the dogs to hunt the animals. And so I don't know if this is true. You guys can correct me on exactly how it worked, but I think they would catch raccoons with traps. And then when they would teach their dogs how to hunt, they would let the raccoons out. And then, a few minutes later, let the dogs out to track them. It was like the dog training. And I asked him, I go, "God, dude, doesn't that ever, hurt you a little bit?" And he goes, "Yeah, actually, I've never spoke about this, but every single time it does. I don't like it." And it's like, that I think that's the more and maybe I'm projecting, but I think that's the more human side of you. I think that's the more real side of you. I think the celebration of it is a coping mechanism of the death of the when you're celebrating the death, it's not that you're really celebrating, it's a coping mechanism for a loss of a fellow human being. Ivan, the information on the internet is so vast, you really have to be careful of falling into into the rabbit holes. There are some very convincing stories on the internet, but you have to take and really do your own research. Yeah, you really, really have to do your own research. I'm trying to think of what post I went to yesterday. But it was I don't remember what it was, but it was like someone saying, "I can't believe the liberal said this." And I watched the clip and I didn't hear the person say it. And then I watched the clip again and I didn't hear the person say it. And then I went to the comments, and for every 50 comments were like, "Yeah, I can't believe he said it." There was one that said, "He didn't say that." And then I think of all the people who watched that, who believe that that person, I wish I could remember exactly what it was. Maybe it'll come to me in a minute. But I'm like, you just showed us a clip of someone talking and you told us what they said. Then when we watch the clip, we don't see them say that. And now people are asking for this. Hey, dude, that's exactly what happened to Charlie Kirk. That's exactly what's happening to Charlie Kirk. People are saying he said shit that he never fucking said, or they're taking it out of context. Give you a perfect example. If I said, I don't like my mom, and then someone took that and didn't put the part, and then the next thing I said, I love my mom. And then everyone was around spreading misinformation that I said that I didn't like my mom without the part that said that it was a setup for I love my mom. It's like, this is batshit crazy. We can't be doing this. Or I don't want to partake in that. Aaron Fraser, by the way, thanks for carrying the show this morning, guys. I really appreciate it. I was so tired last night. Not like tired, like sleepy tired. My eyes got tired. Have your eyes ever gotten tired just from looking at too much shit? It was just too many people I looked at, too many events. Maybe I'm just getting old. I was exhausted. It's not consistent with the 30-06. If you've ever fired one and see the impact on an animal, it's not consistent with that impact. Jake, an odd coincidence for sure, but I will say there's typically trans questions or comments from every person that goes up and asks a question to Charlie, so it could be a coincidence. Yeah, yeah. There's this number 33 thing going around. Everyone's looking for the number once a day on Twitter, I see someone pointing to the number 33 like it has some sort of relevance to his murder. And it's just like when I used to smoke weed. Everywhere I looked, I saw the number 420, like everywhere. I think there's just a ton of people just seeing what they want to see. Charlie was shot at 12:24. Look up John 12:24 in the Bible and read it. See, there you go. The left, the trans, the foreign invaders invading the country want you dead and thrown in internment camps. Look at the majority of them celebrating Kirk's death. Nurses, HR people, and doctors. Hey man, it's all people who've gone through the education system. They got it captured. They're not teaching us how to think. They're telling us what to think. They're defining reality for us instead of teaching us how to think. It's as clear as day. And the internet's doing the same thing. If you don't look it up, start looking for multiple sources. It's I think it's a bit like Charlie's take on the death penalty. I don't know what his take was on the death penalty. I'm definitely not against the death penalty. I don't like the death penalty for 2 reasons. One, I don't trust the legal system to execute the right guy, and if you execute someone, then someone has to execute them, and I don't wanna make that a vocation outside of the US military. I'm open to having my mind changed, but I think that's the worst thing about war. The fact that you send boys off to war, they kill people, and then you bring them back home to your country, and now you have a country full of killers. There's this Taoist saying, "If they lie for you, they will lie to you." You have to remember that, and that doesn't mean you don't forgive those people or accept those people. If you don't accept liars, you will have no friends. If you set the bar too high and expect too much from people, you will have no friends. But it's the same thing with when you're out, this is the most common one you hear, this is the cliche one. You're out on a date with someone or you're out with friends and you see the person you're with treating the waiter or waitress like complete shit. Um, eh, they will treat you like that too. They're showing you what they're capable of. That's what they're showing. No one has that shit compartmentalized. You don't have your behaviors compartmentalized where you only treat waiters and waitresses like shit. Those people who do that, they just see that as an easy opportunity to express that side of them that's deep inside of them. But when the waiter or waitress isn't around and you're on vacation or on a long drive with that person, they're going to do the same thing to you. That part inside of them is them and they will express it. You know good people when you see them. They're always doing just good things. Jeremy World, I think you're giving Osama bin Laden too much humanity. Hey, it's not. It's just me. I don't want. I don't. It's me. I don't want to be a person who celebrates other human beings' deaths. I don't want. I don't want to be that person. It's not good for me. It's not healthy for me. And I don't think it's just me. If you want me to be very cavalier, I don't think it's good for any human being. I think how I think that there is a huge game being played here in the human experience where we distinguish ourselves from other people. And this is why people think socialism and communism will work so well and why they think they're doing the right thing because they they're leaning on the side of that we're all one, which I definitely see that. And then they take it too far. They don't realize the way for that one to flourish is also each person must be treated as an individual. That's the paradox. But I fully understand where they miss it in their logic, where they think, yeah, let's just give everyone $1,000 a month and build homes from everyone and live in kumbaya. There's this paradox here that in our biology, we have the component of survival and self-preservation mixed with the fact that, like, hey, we're really just one organism on the planet. Or maybe to put it in a more Christian term for the Christian listeners, it's more we all have the same father. And hey, if you have kids, there's nothing worse than your kids being mean to each other. That is the worst part of my day every day is when my kids, if they're not getting along. Jake Kazan, she's saying that God allowed that to happen, reason being since his death, so many people have opened their Bible and have attended church. She's saying that his death is bringing people to God. She's also saying that. But she's also saying that God called her husband home. And that was facilitated by Tyler Robinson. I mean, if you're just if you're I'm just if you're just, speaking in gross worldly terms. Jody Lynn, forgiveness is hard. I can't imagine forgiving someone killing my loved ones. And I can't imagine it either, to tell you the truth. I like to think of myself as um, more advanced spiritually than every fucking person around me. But I can't do that one. Yeah, you're right. I get that one's like checkmate. I the tension that runs in me as I say all of this, and there's going to be some asshole in the audience who's going to say, "Well, we got you, Sevon." When the UFC fighter tried to kill the guy who molested his daughter a couple of years ago in San Jose, I had no problem with that. I it is what it is. That contradiction lives in me. I guess I'll have to deal with it. I'm saying that Osama bin Laden fortified his humanity long before his death, forfeited his humanity. So what you're doing, if I'm hearing you right, is you're saying that he's not one of us. He wasn't a human. Hey, and that raccoon that gets killed by the dog also isn't a human who has the raccoon that's life is used to train dogs to be able to track and hunt. It's not human either. I don't think it makes. I'm not buying it. Uh, Stephen Jackson, a great awakening happens before the rapture when we disappear. It wasn't aliens. God, I hope I'm not on an airplane. Listen, dear God, if I'm on an airplane and you're going to take the pilot, please take me. Totally, totally open. Unless you are aliens, then just take the pilot. I want to go with the aliens. Madeline Egger, I imagine her thought process is often conflicted with consumed grief, for sure. But spreading a message that will give her strength, we have the beauty to mourn without addressing the world. If you're buying everything she's saying on face value, which I am, I think she also, I think she sees this as an opportunity to. She doesn't want her husband's death to go to waste, and her husband's life goal was to spread the gospel, and so she wants to honor that. Do I believe she really forgives the man? No. Do I think she knows she didn't forgive the man? 100%. Do I think she sincerely tried in front of the world yesterday? 100%. Maybe not maybe. I'm projecting onto her. I'm looking at her face. I'm looking at how hard it was for her to say. Um, maybe you have to forgive some people 1,000 times before it sticks. I don't know. Um, I think it's easy for people to say that until it happens to someone close to them. 100%. 100%. How easy it is for me to say all of this when I'm surrounded by my mom, my 3 kids, my wife, I'm at the beach, so easy. Uh, very easy. Jeremy, the reason why your eyes are tired is from staring at that dildo all weekend, maybe. You know, we brought the dildo to, someone told me that the reason why some people don't like the show is the juxtaposition of topics. This is probably one of those. So, I ordered the dildo on Amazon, and I wanted to throw it on stage, during the event, and I guess I can still do it at the games, and obviously, I didn't wanna get caught. Um, so, just to kinda, like, show because I think that that is probably the biggest media exposure the, Women's National Basketball Association has gotten outside of Caitlin Clark are those green dildos landing on the court, and I think it's so funny. Um, I like all that stuff when people, like, throw toilet rolls on the court and shit like that. I think all that shit's awesome. When I went to, UC Santa Barbara, one game a year, people would throw tortillas onto the court, and, like, the Gauchos, and it would be, like, 10,000 tortillas would land on the basketball court during a game. And, so I wanted to do that, and I actually had contacted Pool Boy because I thought Pool Boy would be the perfect guy to do it, and there was a perfect place to do it. Oh, this is one mistake Dylan Malinsky made, the only mistake he made all weekend. The venue was butted up against a pier, and so from the pier, you could stare down and you had the best seats in the house of the court. And what Dylan and Wadapalooza did is they put black cloth all along the railing of the pier so that you couldn't actually see the court. And I asked Dylan, the field of play, "Hey, why did you do that?" And he said, "Because we want people, if you want to see the event, you should have to pay for it." You know what I mean? Like we want to sell tickets. And my thought is anyone who was up there watching was not going to be a CrossFitter or didn't come to the event anyway. It's just passerbyers because it's a crazy tourist area, right? Huntington Beach is a crazy tourist area. And so why block that off? Those are the best seats in the house. Like, really? How many tickets do you think you're not going to sell if you left that open? I thought that was a huge miss. And it would have been a really cool shot to see all those people leaning over the pier, in looking at the field. I mean, the court was butted right up against the pier, the field of play where you saw the tier cup happen. So, but anyway, when I saw the pier, I thought, oh, that's a great place to stand. No one will see you. And you could just throw the dildo over the fence at the pier and it would land onto the court. And, but I never found anyone to do it. I was so busy and I just wasn't motivated. Like, if that would I wish that would have been my only job for the weekend, throw the dildo. Um, but, Sevon needs an ayahuasca retreat. That's not even close to true. Irene, assassin equals evil. I don't know what evil is, so I just so you know, I just have to just put a giant question mark there. Assassin equals evil, acknowledging the presence of the devil's work in the world. I don't know what the devil is either. I don't know evil or the devil. Forgiveness and God's will is acknowledgement of good and Jesus' power in our heart. Yeah, it's almost like algebra to me when you write stuff like that. Assassin equals X, acknowledging the presence of Y working in the world. So you're saying that evil sent Charlie Kirk back home to his father. Okay. I mean, I'm open to not understanding it. I just don't understand it. Anyone who's killed for their beliefs in the way that both Charlie and bin Laden were become instant martyrs. It's a really strong point. And I guess that's why they threw bin Laden's body in the ocean. They didn't want it to become a point of public interest where people with his same beliefs could rally. Rallies people to said cause. Yeah. Anyone who's killed for their beliefs in the way that both Charlie and bin Laden were become instant martyrs, rallies people to said cause. Bin Laden created more radicals, Charlie Kirk's more Bible readers. Yeah. The fact that there's a cohort of human beings who get offended that other people pray is once again wild to me. So I dear God, do with me as you wish, and please use your will to direct me on this planet. And then someone's like, fuck you. That's stupid. It's like, wow. Hey, that's the same thing. Why do that? Why not just have no thought about it? Why not just be like, okay, I'll give it a whirl too? So if half the planet prays and then for the next hour they feel really good and they're nice, there's something wrong with that? I don't. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing with the people who are pro-life. How do you hate those people? I could totally see disagreeing with them, like, oh, it's a slippery slope. You don't want to put rules on a human body, but you don't like them because they want to save babies' lives. I mean, I don't. What a noble way to live your life. The same people celebrating now are the ones that wanted you out of society for COVID. 100%. By the way, if Trump and RFK go live, will someone tell me? What if the military carried out executions? That is what they do. That is what they do. They do carry out executions, right? What do you mean, what if? That is what they do. Conspiracy Candace and Tucker Carlson are the internet's university for the far right. I cannot believe how much traction Candace's podcast is getting. These are some really thoughtful comments today. Yes, thank you, Sevon. Our system unfortunately convicts innocent people. I'm not saying I'm 100% against it, but there's better be zero doubt on guilt. Yeah, before you kill someone. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we are so flawed, and to be using our discernment to kill people is why. I mean, I mean, that's the ultimate, right? Um, we live in a society where someone thinks it's racist if you question, if you see a black female pilot and you question, is she qualified? People see that as racist. I mean, we live with fucking crazy people. That's the farthest. How the fuck is that even the slightest racist? First of all, the race thing's a misnomer. There's no such thing as race. Anyone with a fucking IQ over 70 knows that. And second of all, the CEO of United Airlines said that that they have started a huge program in order to make pilots 50% people of color and or women. It's like, how is that a criteria for flying a plane? Are you out of your fucking mind? And therefore, you have to ask, hey, it's no different if I told you, I don't know if you guys know this, but the leading cause of salmonella is cantaloupes. So we know that. And then you go to the store and you ask the guy who works there, hey, how old are these cantaloupes? How long have they been sitting in the sun? I don't know what the mechanism is, by the way. I'm just making that up. I don't know what the mechanism is that makes cantaloupe such a great host for salmonella. I don't even know what salmonella is, but I guess it's bad if you get it. In your whole life, you're told it comes from chickens and raw chicken and eggs. And then you find out it's not even comparable to what the salmonella found in cantaloupe. And then so if you ask that, it's a totally legitimate question. Craig Richards, read The Naked Communists Gain Control Over Education and Teachers Unions so you can infiltrate and indoctrinate the young people. Yeah, that's exactly what's happened. It's 100%. You have 90% of our educational institutions completely infected with the mind virus. Completely off topic. Do you think Tia is pregnant? I do. I think she is pregnant, but if you gave me $1 million and said, "Hey, Sevon, you got to put it on whether she's pregnant or not pregnant," I'd put it on not pregnant. But it comes off my tongue pretty easy that I think she's pregnant. Um, I I I think Tia is a winner, and by no means do I think she ever wants to lose under any circumstance. I think she has like championship mindset that's on a level that I could never even fathom. And I think outside of her kid and her husband, she's fully dedicated to doing her best and winning. And for some reason, that didn't comport with what we saw this weekend. And we saw her just win the games. And um, granted, she is just human. And Echo Fran is a really hard workout, but to take last on that, I mean, there's like no one would have thought that, right? Not one of us, not one person would have been like, "Yeah, Tia's taking last on that." That would be interesting to see Tyler do something like that. If that would have been done ahead of time on the Heat One app, hey, place the 8 people who do Echo Fran in order of what their times. And I don't think anyone would have put Tia below 4th or 3rd. Yeah, it's a trip. As long as human beings are involved, the system will be flawed, but having extreme consequences is necessary to prevent extreme crime. I mean, right now there's no consequences. I mean, you saw. I've talked about it on the show. You've seen the stat where 54% of arrests in DC weren't being prosecuted, and at that point, we're making a mockery of the law, and there's no consequences. Like I said this on the podcast yesterday too. Tommy G was in some Section 8 housing doing a video on the toughest city in the United States or the biggest gangsters in the US or one of those shows he does. And one of the guys was like, "Yeah, 3 generations. My family's been here for 3 generations. My great grandmother lived in this Section 8 housing, my grandmother, and now my mom. And so they haven't paid rent and they've been on the government dole for 3 generations." I mean, you cannot, that will be the collapse of a civilization. You cannot do that. Sevon, have you been keeping up with the Chicago Bears? I did not watch the game yesterday. I was told that Caleb threw 209 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half, and then shit the bed in the second half. Um, basically threw less than 100 yards in the second half. So I don't. But I haven't. I have not looked at it. The thing with the Charlie Kirk thing also that's really cool, and it's why I'm so optimistic, is how it's affected young people. I think like this is the most news young people have watched in a long time. I was shocked. I was shocked when I was telling Taylor, I was talking to Taylor about something Gutfeld and Jesse Waters said, and I realize a lot of people don't know who they are, and that I just realized that a couple months ago, and that shocked me since they have the biggest shows on television. They have the 2 biggest shows on network news. They had twice as many views every night as Jimmy Kimmel. At first I was shocked that people didn't know who they were. But then I was really shocked when this really blew me away. Taylor said, "Hey, dude, only old people watch the news." And I guess maybe I knew that, but I hadn't come to terms with it. But I guess young people, they don't get any news from, or they don't. Yeah, they don't. I guess they don't watch the news. If you don't watch Jesse Waters, just go on YouTube and get him in your algorithm. If you don't watch him, you're totally missing out. He's so good. He's so funny. Yeah, Taylor didn't know who Jesse Waters or Gutfeld were. That blew me away. Josh, the Bible says, "Truly I say unto you, it is better for you to tie a millstone around your neck and jump in the river than lead one of my little ones astray. Clock. Great. That's all we need. More Christians thinking this is the end of times and sitting on their fat asses, letting the left run roughshod over the country. Uh, you guys are great. Irene, I think Mrs. Kirk had a difficult time saying she forgives him because deep down she knows it's more than one person. Boy. Well, it's a trip because of all the cameras and all the media. It really is. There's it's almost like there's no reality TV can't compare with what we get to see now. We got to see the buildup of this character, Charlie Kirk, and then we got to see him killed live on the air. And then now we get to see the investigation live. And it's kind of like it's like a Simpsons episode. There's all the characters, you know. There's Kash Patel, there's Tyler Robinson, there's all the characters. You know, early on when he was first shot, there was someone who said they interviewed a guy who was standing underneath the building where the shot came from, and he said the shot came right over his head. I also saw yesterday people are saying that I don't know if this is true at all. I almost shouldn't say this, but I saw a post yesterday saying that the FBI switched its story and saying it wasn't a 30-06, it was a 22. I don't know if the FBI really said that, but I saw that somewhere. Crazy they put those screens up. They don't even do that for concerts and stuff. You're talking about the bulletproof glass that Trump spoke in front of? Claire Bay, speaking of this weekend, I got to meet Haley. Oh, that's awesome. She's great, isn't she? Hey, that's how good the VIP area was at Wadapalooza. Normally, if I'm somewhere with my kids or Haley somewhere with our kids, we watch them like hawks, and they got to run around back there without their parents all up in their shit. God, you guys are really carrying the show today. I can't thank you enough. I only had one cup of coffee. No, I'm good. Thank you. Steven Jackson, when you learn how to pray to Christ, it's amazing. Every prayer my wife and I pray for has happened, sometimes immediate and sometimes it takes a while. But they've all come to pass. That's cool. Send me a DM on how to do that. This is great. Corey Leonard, I read my Bible every day, Joseph. I have not planned the first mass killing. Jeremy, you mean an IQ over 69? Wow, I am so far behind. Oh, lettuce too. Jody's saying lettuce is this the word harbinger? Mom, is that a word? Harbinger? Jody Lynn says harbinger. Lettuce is also a harbinger of salmonella. Lettuce and cantaloupe. What did you say? A messenger? A messenger or a sign. Harbinger? I thought harbinger was like carrying. I thought like if you were harbinging a harbinger. I always think of like harbinger as something you're carrying in a bag. No? Like, no, you're right. There's no word that harboring. Like you're hiding like the killer in your bedroom. You're harboring the. Is that? Can you use it like that? Oh, here we go. Joseph Ramirez. Salmonella infection is as common as bacterial disease that affects the intestinal tract. Salmonella bacteria typically lives in an animal and human intestines and are shed through the stool. Yeah, so why would it be in cantaloupe and lettuce? Is someone peeing and shitting on the cantaloupe and lettuce? Harvest CrossFit. If you go to church, you better be prepared to lead some kids, know your Bible, and be ready to question the questions. Be ready to answer the questions. I don't know. You can why can't you just channel God? I have 30 Jeffrey Birchfield. I have 30-year-olds and they don't watch the news. They consume all the bullshit on TikTok. Aaron Fraser. Everyone wants all the answers and all the details. As someone who's had someone they love murdered, that's not how the system works. And much of what is in the media is often wrong. Jeremy at World. God's will is impossible to understand, and it's where most get lost trying to figure it out. Yeah. Wow, this is a trippy comment. Stir, who are you talking about? It's like he's the president of the United States, not some worthless soul-sucking celebrity that's a cancer on society. Who are you referring to? By the way, I had no idea that Dave was going to say that they were going to give 26.3 to Wadapalooza to the event as an open announcement. But that's exactly what people like myself, Souza, Hiller, Pedro, endless people have known for the longest time, and it's so sad that other events don't do that. Like if you're an event and you're going to release something, you should give all of your releases to Andrew Hiller or to Barbell Spin. Like even when I know stuff, I won't release it. I'll call Hiller or I'll call Spin. It is such a mistake to think like you're going to be the first one to get something, and if you get that, it's somehow going to make you better, or you're going to or that you don't want to get scooped. Like if I'm a CrossFit event, all I do are make promos and give them to Dave and CrossFit. That's all I do, or give them to the biggest athletes. And find ones who will actually work with you and appreciate it and support it. If they don't appreciate it and support it, then don't do it. But if you have an Instagram account with 32,000 followers, well, even if you have an Instagram with 500,000 followers, give it to someone else who has 500,000 followers. Let them post it first. It's really easy. I don't know how they do it, but Spin and Hiller and a couple other guys have this software where they can also tell you the crossover of the followers that you have. So Andrew can look at my account and be like, "Hey, Sevon, I don't know how many followers he has. Let's say 150,000 followers on Instagram, and I have 10,000." He can be like, "Hey, 8,000 of your followers are also my followers," and you can figure that shit out very easily. And so if you have things to promote, like it's no scoop that Dave did that at Wodapalooza. CrossFit Games can still now post it. It's not a big deal. If someone makes a great video, you can repost it. It's not a big deal. If there's some breaking news that Tia is pregnant, it's okay to give that to Hiller or Spin first. And then whatever avenue, whatever lane you're in, then you do it. Like if I found out Tia was pregnant, I would probably tell Spin or Hiller first. And then after they posted it, then I do a podcast on it. There's this convolution, misthinking, bad thinking. You have to remember you're not trying to be right or be first or any of that. You're just trying to get what you want. And if what you want at the end of the day, let's say for Wodapalooza at the end of the day or the CrossFit Games, it's to have for the CrossFit Games, it's to have the most open entries. So like with that sole mission, don't get confused if it's better to do it at Wodapalooza than it is to do it somewhere else. Because you want it on your Instagram account. That's not a good enough reason. Sevon, do you think there'll be a baby boom after Charlie's death and his message to revive the American family? You know, have you ever been around? I've had friends who do this who keep score. But have you ever been around couples that keep score? It's crazy. I could not live like that. She bought this, so I bought that. I went out with my friends tonight, so she gets to go out with her friends tomorrow night. And when Kirk's wife was talking, she said, we never kept score. And that's a trip because I was like, wow, that's interesting that she threw that in there. I don't hear a lot of people talk about that. Or you're not rivals. Have you ever been with couples who are like rivals? I don't know, man. Relationship people do the dumbest thing. I see so many dumb things in relationships. I see so many fucking dumb things in relationships. The couples acting like the couple defensiveness, the couples the spouses acting like kids. Um we I don't know. I don't know. Really, what I did when you asked that question, I jumped to the point of can they actually stay together? I wasn't even thinking of your question. I'm sorry. I read into it and I was just I went to they had kids and then I imagined people staying together. And I just see the way um like you could be around Lizzie and Taylor and know they're going to be together forever. He's always looking out for her best interest and she's always looking out for his best interest. Like you just see it. It's just in your face the whole fucking time. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I so don't I so I think like I've reached that point in my life. It's so weird where I think like maybe like I've become my parents and I've lost touch with the generation behind me. I don't know. If the couples are like Lizzie and Taylor, yeah, it's gonna be a boon. Um, but man, there's so many fucking crazy people out there who are easily offended, who are keeping score, who aren't looking out for the better interest of. Yeah. I mean, when's the last time you saw someone pick up trash? You're walking down a promenade somewhere and there's 3 things of ranch dressing thrown on the ground and you see someone stop and pick it up. There was we were in the conservative heartbeat, the wealthiest conservative area in the United States this week, and there was a guy standing in front of Wadapalooza with a cowboy hat and glasses, and he was holding a sign that says, "Let's pray together." And I sat there and watched him for a few minutes. And people looked like him like he fucking was handing out AIDS. And this is the conservative epicenter of the West Coast, and not one person went up. No one fist bumped him. No one smiled at him. They look at him like he's a fucking like he's like a weirdo. I don't know. I hate to be pessimistic because I'm so optimistic, and I think life's so fun and exciting. But you know, I just I don't know. I don't know. Joseph Ramirez, harbinger, a person or thing that announces or signals the approach of another. Really? Harbin? Mom, is that right? Oh, she says sort of. I trust my mom over Oxford Dictionary. Uh, yeah. I- isn't like, isn't it like if like someone robs a bank and like you hide them in your house? Isn't that can't you use that word harbinger or harbinger? Isn't there? That's how I think of it. Something that foreshadows something. Yeah, well, I would think like, so dark clouds are a harbinger of rain. I mean, I know that's not ideal use, but someone use it in a sentence for me. By the way, Hiller told me that there's this documentary we got to see on Netflix, Haley. I think it's about high school kids or something. I forget what it's called. He said it's wild. Oh, Netflix explained the salmonella. The water in the fields is contaminated with fecal matter, thus contaminating the cantaloupe and lettuce. Okay. Oh my God, am I that far behind you guys? This is the best chat. This is either I don't spend enough time in the chat, or this is the best chat ever. Maybe I shouldn't even do shows. I should just be in chats. You can't just channel God because humans are flawed. Anything you think is the spirit needs to be tested by the word. We don't interpret scripture. Scripture interprets us. Okay, I don't fully get that, but I like it. Something in there uh resonates. Sabir, I'm surprised the Kirk situation did not have a big impact in Trinidad like BLM did. Black squares caused the 3 CrossFit gyms to deaffiliate, and now there are none. The thing is the BLM thing. There's a cohort of people in our planet. And this is why it's the ideology. There's an ideology. This victim. If you have the victim ideology, you will be caught in perpetual misery. You will not be happy. You won't be having fun. No one will really want to be around you, except for other fucking. You guys are gonna love this. I don't mean this though. Other demons. And it's like I don't think it says it in the Bible somewhere. It's like the gnashing of teeth. Those people are like just fucking hungry piranhas in a fishbowl. And when the media feeds them things that where they can feel sorry for themselves and blame someone else for their problems, they do it. And there's this other class of people, the liberals, who think that they're being benign or benevolent by feeding the piranhas the stories of their victimhood. And all you're doing when you do that is you're oppressing people. When you feed stories acknowledging other people's shortcomings and help them argue them, you are the fucking tool of oppression. You're the greatest tool of oppression. It's a vile human trait. I saw Kotler has the exact opposite trait when it comes to Alex Gazan. Like you want to believe in people more than they believe in themselves. That's who you want to be. it's such a better life. It's so much more fun. It's such a cheap and easy way to give. Just see greatness in people. See the greatness in people. You know who's amazing at that is Tyson Bajan's dad, Travis Bajan. All he sees is greatness in people. Just see the greatness in people. So she's pregnant? I don't know. I don't know if I have no idea. But something doesn't comport. Yeah, half the podcast out there just use my content. Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do. That's what I do. I am half the podcast out there. What are you talking about? I'm 3/4 of that half. But something what I'm saying, Spin, is like if I like I don't know, I'm just trying to think. Um like if I'm JR and I want to advertise Crash Crucible, I feed you all the information. So I feed it to you. Okay, so let's say JR finds out that Lydia Fish is competing at Crash Crucible, right? Took number 13th or 14th at the CrossFit Games, the young phenom coming up. Absolutely, kind of this not in her athletic ability or anything, but just in terms of the folklore around her, she's got the Colton Mertens folklore. She's just a good old girl, right? She's just a hardworking. She's like every fucking father's dream to have a daughter like that. And she's coming up the ranks, and you find out she's going to be at CrossFit. She's coming to Crash to get the 10 grand. And so JR tells Spin, or if JR told me, I probably would tell Spin, or I would hope I would tell Spin, or think about it. Then Spin publishes the article on it, and then you do the podcast on that article. And now you got some like crazy synergy. It's just like anytime Hiller would do, if he does did that piece on Erica Folo. Like I was like, hey, can you tell me the day it's coming out? Because the day after I want to have her on the podcast. I'm not like, oh shit, he scooped me. It's just synergy. Yeah. Listen, the only problem with half the podcast using your content is it should be all of them. How far behind am I? Oh my. Oh, I'm not that far behind. Maybe I'm confused. Maybe some of you are behind. I bought an iPhone 17. Did you get the Pro? The Pro Max? That's the worst. I'm so glad my husband and I don't keep score. Listen, the only score I keep with my wife is like I need her to have more points than me. Like I don't ever want to be the one that says no. Like here's the craziest one is if like you'll hear is if someone's mate wants to work out and the other mate's like, no, I need to do this. It's like, well, it better be fucking important because if you're stopping your mate from working out, you're batshit crazy. My wife and I will have this conversation once a week. She'll be like, I'm taking the kids to jiu-jitsu. I'm like, no, I'm taking them to jiu-jitsu. She's like, no, I'll take them to jiu-jitsu. I'll be like, no, I'll take them to jiu-jitsu. She's like, well, you've been up since 6. Have you napped? And I'll be like, no, I don't need a nap. And then she'll be like, have you worked out? I'm like, I'll work out when I get home. She's like, no, I'll take them. You stay here. I'm like, no, you stay here. And it drives me crazy, but I'll take that over. It's your turn to take them any day. Any fucking day. Any day I'll take that. Do we have a fight? Almost all spin, way more than half. Yeah. Yeah. I thought you guys were fighting. Seban, have you seen the YouTube channel Cart Narcs? I don't know if I've seen their YouTube channel, but I've seen all the cart. I watched the cart stuff. That one's funny because I always imagine what that's going to be like, what my interaction would be with them. Is that the scary Russian guy or is it the other guy who throws the thing on people's hoods? Yeah. I saw an old lady trip and fall on a curb. I got out of my car immediately to go check on her. Yeah, if you don't do that, If there's a guy holding a sign there and it says, let's pray together, and you don't go over and fist bump him or tell him, hey, thank you for your service, you're not like, how the fuck are you a Christian? Like, even a little bit. You're at Wadapalooza staring at boobs and buying sweatshirts you don't need, and there's a guy out front who's prophesizing the word that you claim that you are. You have it in your bio. God, family, fitness in that order, and you can't go over and just give him an attaboy. I don't. It doesn't comport. And if you're a human being, not even a Christian, if you're a human being, and you see someone fall down and you don't go over and help them, or at least be like, oh shit, I got, like, at least have the conversation that you need to do it, but you have some crazy justification where you can't do it. I don't. You're missing out. You're not a complete person. You're not seeing the world the way it's meant to be seen. I'll never forget. I was probably 30 years old, and I went to this grocery store with my mom in Benicia, California. It was a Nob Hill. I don't know if that's like a big chain or not. And there was a kid collecting carts, and he came over to the car where my mom and I were getting into. She drove this shitty Nissan Altima. It was crazy. It was crazy. My mom never had. It was crazy. I don't know what the fuck. My mom should never be allowed to buy a car by herself. She drove this shitty Nissan Altima. Anyway, we're getting into this. Every time I got in the car, my back hurt. It was like crazy. It was just like you just sat in this car and your back hurt. And anyway, so we're getting in there, and this guy's collecting carts by my mom's car, and I'm loading in the groceries. And a guy shows up out of nowhere who's the same age as the cart collector. He's like 17, and the cart collector 17. And he starts yelling at him and trying to fight him. And my mom starts yelling at the boy. She immediately defends the boy who's collecting the carts from the other boy. And I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck are we getting involved in this? It was crazy, but that's how you should be. That's how you should be. You guys have seen the video where like the duckling fall, all the mom duck is walking along the highway, and 12 of the ducklings fall into the sewer drain, and it shows the lady get naked and lift off the sewer drain and climb down in there and save the ducklings. Like that's your natural state. That's like, Audrey Fraser, the chat is definitely a show of its own. Well, then I'm in that show today. Chat is light years ahead of you, Sebi. Oh, good. You guys are fully entertaining me today. All proceeds go to the chat. Adam Blakesley, do you ever do partner workouts with Haley? That's my favorite. Never work harder. I don't. There was 10 years of our life where we always worked out together, like always, always, always. And then we had kids, and can you remember the last time we worked out together? Oh, I went to a hot Pilates class with her. Oh, she said a couple weeks ago we worked out at the same time. We didn't do the same workout. Marriage is not 50-50. It's both sides should be giving 100. That's a good way to put it. Kristen, my sister's a missionary in Ukraine and holds signs to pray. Gets lots of people to pray because they are desperate. Wealthy people aren't desperate enough. Here's the thing. I'm not even a Christian. But I walked up to him and said, "Thank you for your service," and gave him a pat on the back or a hug or a fist bump or something. Like, you don't even like it's like this, it's like seeing someone picking up trash and thanking them for it. Like, there's all these people there who claim to be Christians, and then you see someone doing God's work based on your, thought process, and you're not gonna give give them a fucking attaboy? It's crazy. It's fucking nuts to me. Uh, Han Solo. My daughter took a tumble at the beach near the showers yesterday, and a woman jumped out of a moving Jeep to make sure she was okay. Yeah, that's cool. Pool boy, I remember Nob Hill. It's like a gay Trader Joe's. All right. I never thought of I don't know. I never thought of it like that. Um, yeah. Jesus started it, the disciples spread it, and the Christians tried to control it. I know you wrote government, but that's what I see it as the Christians try to control it. Just in my narrow scope, I see the modern day Christians as identical to the Jews who were following the Old Testament. I see no different. Built a dogma around it with all the rules. They reject Jesus' liberation, all that shit. One day I'll dig into it further and be able to articulate it. Virtue, the disposition to do good should be a foundation of Christianity, but isn't always the case, sadly. And that's the thing. If you're not going to do good, at least support people who you think are doing good. At bare minimum. Oh no, I'm not behind. I'm here. I'm right here now. Uh, why are you avoiding the subject of Brent Fikowski? Admit he is the bigger guy. Um, so these people are so difficult to be friends with. They're exhausting. Does anyone want to why avoid the subject of Brent Fikowski? Like, why is it my job to unfuck you? Does your wife hate you? Like, that's another thing. Let's go back to the marriage thing. If you speak in presuppositions, the women get 1 week a month to do that. You got to give them that week. But if you know men who do that to other men, this is like it is I used to have a very dear friend who did that all the time, and I had to deal with it because I also worked with him. And I really like this guy, but he would always start with something that I had to walk back. Like, what do you mean, why avoiding the subject of Brent Fikowski? And if I want to talk to you and you're like, and you don't want to meet me out here in the real world, you want me to come into your head? Like, I don't wanna go in your head. You're not my fucking wife. Why Magnus, why do I wanna come into your head? Why do I have to why is it my job? Why is it our job, the people around you, to walk your dumb shit back? It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. You've been around here too long to still be doing that stuff. Christian Kettler, Swedish men are closer to being women than Caitlyn Jenner. I know. Listen, the 2 greatest things you can do the 2 greatest things you can do for your kids is if you live in Europe, to move out of Europe right away and come to the United States where there's still a few men left, and then, the second thing is homeschool them. But if you're in Europe, you're like, you got to get out. Dylan Vowell, Christians are not Christians. Jesus is Christianity. If you suck at Fran, it's because your fitness sucks, not the workout. I'm going to have to think about that one. I said to someone, I said, man, that was really cool that Brent Fikowski did kill Taylor. And I don't know if you guys, if you saw Kill Taylor yesterday, I said a bunch of stuff to him afterwards. I go, wow, that's really nice of you to do that after all, how much I've been an asshole to you the last couple of years. The internet was stuttering, so I don't know what people saw or didn't see. But I spoke kind words to him for like, I don't know, 60 seconds or 2 minutes. And I don't know if he heard either because his eyes were closed the entire time. He was hurting from the workout. So I don't know if he heard any of it. But I said it on the show. And I don't know if you guys heard it because I don't know how people were saying the internet was stuttering. And I spoke very kindly of him. And I stared at him for 2 minutes, but he didn't open his eyes once. I was just curious. I was just thanking him for coming. I think I even said, I maybe even said, hey, you're the bigger man. I maybe even said that. We heard you, very kind of you. Okay. Sevon was being a great host, yeah. And so, but then he left, and I saw him later on in the day, and I tried to like be cordial with him, and he wanted nothing to do with me, which is fine. He doesn't owe me anything. But I thought, okay, well, if we got one step, in the right direction, and I thought maybe I thought that maybe he had accidentally stumbled on Kill Taylor because we just saw him walking across the top. And maybe he did just stumble across it. Yeah, you were super gay, bro. Okay, good. I was kind of going for that. But then someone told me, they said, hey, the only reason why he did that. And I said, I think I don't know, because him and Taylor are acquaintances, because I think him and Taylor communicate. I think Fikowski and Taylor have an open line of communication. And someone said no. They said it's because he can't get any traction and he's not relevant anymore and he's trying to sell programming. And I was like, okay. I mean, I don't care. I don't care. You can come on the show for whatever reason you want. I hope he was doing that. If he was doing that, that's cool. I'm okay with that. I guess I got in your head. That's what we wanted to hear. Oh, all you have to do is, hey, listen, Magnus. All you have to be is like, hey, what are your thoughts on the Fikowski interaction? It was really nice what you said about him. That's how I'd approached it. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. Oh, I asked him 5 times. I had to use the magic to get in. Well, shit, then it worked. And I'm thankful he came on. It's great for the show. It's fun for the show. It was fun. And it's fun because of the history we have, because of the drama. So that is why it's cool. That's one of the reasons why it's cool. I had unfollowed him before and refollowed him because he did it. There you go. So it worked. He got what he wanted. All right. Thanks, guys. Great conversation. Thanks for carrying the show. Maybe you guys will have to do it for all 2 weeks while I'm here. Today's Monday. Dave Castro will do a weekend review. I'll do a weekend review of the weekend review. Sevon, did you hear about SB 771 just passed in Assembly and passed in Senate? We are cooked here in California. SB 771. SB 771. Oh, God. California Senate Bill 771 aims to hold social media platforms liable for civil penalties if their algorithms or systems contribute to violations of California's personal rights law, such as those against harassment, intimidation, while proponents argue it's a necessary step to apply civil rights protection in the digital. Oh, God. Yeah, it's a total workaround censorship. It's a total workaround censorship. They're basically scaring they're doing what Biden did. They're scaring they're trying to scare the social media companies. Yeah, all that passes while they're worried about fucking Jimmy Kimmel. It's crazy. A social media platform is one that generates over 100 million in annual gross revenues. Hey, the bill was introduced because of rising hate, which can't be defined. Wow. The bill could force platforms to over-police content, leading to censorship and weakening online free speech. Yeah, of course. Maybe it'll get challenged. Maybe it'll get challenged and go to the Supreme Court. I know that the lawmakers in California are just fucking batshit crazy. All right. If anyone has my phone number and you see RFK or Trump go live, I really want to see that press conference. It's going to be something else. I'm so glad. I don't know if the rumors are true, but I remember my wife saying we'll never give our kids Tylenol or Advil or any of that shit. I even remember when Ari snapped his tibia, snapped his tibia in half. Poor kid didn't even get any pain medication then. But the rise in autism is crazy. If you have baseline kids like I do, and you're around them all the time, and then you go out in the real world, you will see that something is definitely going on. Something is off, neuromuscularly, socially. These are not the kids I went to school with, and so it sounds like they got something to present on it. I thought you were going to talk behind the scenes stuff today. I didn't do any. Listen. I didn't listen. I woke up every morning. I went to breakfast with my mom and Taylor and Lizzie and Bryson and Maris and Jenny and my kids and my wife. And then I went to the beach and played all day. And then I went to Wadapalooza and then I came back, went to the beach again. And then I went to Wadapalooza and came back, went to the beach again and played Uno with everyone. And that's it. I didn't do there's nothing I can tell you about the behind the scenes. The two best conversations I had. Well, I shouldn't say the two best. I had a ton of great conversations with people, but it was just I think I told you them. I met a family that had a daughter. The guy was cool as shit. I guess he told me I didn't tell you the story. He was wearing a CEO shirt, and I saw him, so I beelined over to him to give him a hug and tell him thanks for his support. And he told me that I think his wife or someone said, "Hey, are you sure you want to wear that shirt? The athletes might hate you if you wear that shirt." And he said, "I don't care," which I thought was funny. I went and watched the Dallin Pepper, Justin Jason Hopper podcast live. That was like the only time like I came out into the world besides like hiding. And I thought the three of them did a fucking great job. I thought it was their best podcast I had seen, and Justin fielded a lot of. Justin handled himself amazing. I had nice interaction with the Medeiros family after a bumpy couple years. I talked to that Caitlin girl from In the Box. She was a sweetheart. I saw Mesa. She looked like I don't know what she looked like. Not happy. Not happy. The only person I haven't told you about is Brian. That's the only person I haven't told you about. I'm trying to think. I saw the owner of John Lavelle and his wife from what's the name of their Overload CrossFit in Temecula, California. I hung out with him for like 40 minutes. I hung out with Tim Chan, who used to be Dave's executive assistant over at CrossFit for years. Tim was cool as shit. I talked to him for an hour. I ate the free food they had in the VIP area. Um, that's it. There wasn't anything. Joseph Ramirez, she always looks pissed. Yeah, she looks so fucking angry. Like 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 when you see someone on the street who's just like in front of a liquor store and pissed. That's the way she looked. You know what I mean? Like, no, not Maris. Yeah, she was pissed. Mesa looked pissed. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I mean, I've read people's faces wrong before. I'm no like, that's not my expertise. I mean, I'm like 7 out of 10. Um. Uh. Yeah, these events are always great for mending relationships. Yeah, I wear your shirts daily. Thank you. I'm trying to think. I think that's it. I saw Heather Lawrence there, who's kind of second in command of the CrossFit Games, and the podcast. I really wanted to talk to her, and the podcast was going just to say hi and what's up, and get FaceTime with her. And but when the podcast was done, I was looking around for her, and she was gone. Oh, I spoke with Jenna Hawka, the chief marketing officer over at CrossFit, for 30 minutes. She's cool as shit. I enjoyed that conversation. I got to see Chase. I always forget how big Chase is. I spoke to Chase 8 times for 71 seconds each time because we're both busy. I mean, he's really busy. I shouldn't even compare my busyness to his busyness. He's busy, so he's like, I'd see him at the bathroom, or we drink a rain together or some shit. Sevi, is the shirt with Christ on the back available to buy? Yeah, and he keeps working on them. And hey, it's my favorite shirt. I have 3 of them now. Eventually, when I have like 7 of them, it's all I'll wear. It's my favorite shirt. I didn't see the Hawk Tui girl. Send me a shirt, Sevon, a large. What size? Send me a shirt, Sevon. Send me, DM me your, DM me your address and what size shirt you are. It's a great shirt. It's a great shirt. I love the Jesus shirt. I saw you at Boys Interrupted. Glad to see that. Yeah, it was cool. Basically, I was hiding in the VIP area, and I think Souza said, "Hey, they're doing Boys Interrupted. Let's go watch it." And we went over there. I did not like Souza's question, but whatever. I love Souza, so love for Souza trumps the question. Yeah, and hey, and if I don't respond to you, um, just like once a week, resend it, bump it up to the top. Yeah, there you go. Look, Kenneth knows. Send him a DM once a week. Yeah. Yeah, I felt bad for Justin because I think, what did Souza ask him? Hey, if you guys could replace a girl on your team, who would it be? And there were still like 2 days left in the competition. I was like, oh, that's fucked up. And I thought Justin handled it well. I guess also, like, it's not a dig on Souza at all, because Souza's like 1,000 times more sociable than me and has more friends than me and is better at like maintaining friendships, and he makes people feel, he's very, very attentive and gives people a lot of attention, and it's really fun being around him. But I really try to avoid any. I really, like Sabir said, I really like to use those events just to be healing, I guess. I love it when someone says he's going to go and stays on for a half hour. Haley, are we going to go eat? Oh. Pardon me? Oh, yeah, that's fine. POTUS speech scheduled for 4 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, 1 p.m. That's good. Taylor is obnoxious with the dildo. Yeah. I thought the dildo bit was extremely obnoxious too. But I wouldn't change a thing. It's weird. I can't explain it. I guess the fact that you have judgment about it makes me happy. And it kind of just tests my I've never sat in a room where a dude played with a dildo even for 1 second, let alone that's the most time that was like a whole lifetime of dildo experience I had. I've never even been around a dildo, and then I did 2 90-minute shows with a dildo next to me. So I don't know. I bought the dildo, Jake Kazan, I missed it. What's the story about the dildo? So I bought green dildos. I bought 2 green dildos to throw out on the floor at Wadapalooza. And, it wasn't a priority. Really, to be honest with you, the main reason why I wanted to do it was because I wanted to see Sean Woodland's reaction. Like, "Oh my god. Oh my god." I thought he'd, freak out. But I love it when I love the WNBA clips when the green dildo goes out on the floor and then someone comes with a hazmat suit, or a cop comes out there with a towel and has to pick it up. Uh, it's in my bag now. It's in my. I'll probably have someone throw it out at the games. I just can't get caught. I just can't get caught doing it. It has to be someone else has to do it. Um, that would have been so funny, but messed up. I mean, here's the thing: these guys want to be professional so bad. If we don't have a dildo on the full floor of play, then Then we're not professional, and that's the part they don't get. All right. I'll see you guys later today for the Dave Castro Weekend Review. Also, tomorrow I'm going to watch that entire Trump press conference today. It's at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Anyone who wants to watch it, RFK and Trump are going to talk about the CDC's findings with autism. So go ahead and watch that. That'll give us something to talk about tomorrow. All right. Love you guys. Bye-bye.